Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Duke. This is Right Makes Might. And today we're going to talk about education. I know it's a familiar theme with us, but ever since the victory of Donald Trump in the recent election and his pick to be the Secretary of Education over at the Federal Department of Education, Betsy DeVos, ever since that transpired, I've been bombarded with email from people wanting to know what I thought about it. And so I think I'm going to take an opportunity here on this Right Makes Might to share with you my thoughts. First and foremost, Donald Trump promised to get rid of the Department of Education. So then did Ronald Reagan. So has pretty much every Republican candidate in the last 40 years. And alas, none of them do it. And that's the rub. Unless we get rid of the Department of Education, we're not going to fix our problems. Betsy DeVos is a middle-of-the-road candidate. She is very much in favor of school choice, vouchers and charters. She's an ardent defender of those. I, too, am a defender of student choice, especially given how corrupt our public schools and ineffective our public schools have become. We all want choice. We all want the ability to be able to use some of our taxpayer money to educate our kids the way we see fit, not the way the state or the federal government does. However, Ms. DeVos is a establishment insider. She is a huge Jeb Bush committee member. She is has been historically a tremendous supporter of Common Core, particularly in the state of Michigan, where she almost single-handedly blocked Michiganders' attempts to remove Common Core. And so now she's come out and paid lip service to the idea that she wants to get rid of Common Core. Even if she does want to get rid of Common Core, the best way she can do that, and I don't believe she does, but the best way she could possibly do that is to immediately sink her teeth into pulling apart the Department of Education. Here's our big problem. Presidents come and go, congressmen and senators come and go. You know what stays the same? The bureaucracy. It doesn't matter every 4 years to 8 years, you plug in a new face at the Department of Education, but all the 5,000 plus employees of the Department of Education that aren't prone to turning over every 4 or 8 years, and that's our problem. Whenever a president starts, he really needs to clean house. The Democrats do a better job of this than the Republicans. Get rid of everybody. But these 5,000 plus career bureaucrats at the Department of Education are almost all unilaterally progressive. To work at the Department of Education, to be hired at the Department of Education these days, in almost every instance, you have to be absolutely progressive and have absolutely orthodox liberal bona fides. So what happens? You put a new Secretary of Education in. He or she tinkers a little bit. She may lurch it to the left, lurch it to the right a little bit. But when they go, the whole liberal establishment stays. So you cannot leave the Department of Education intact, because whatever reforms Betsy DeVos inaugurates that will make student choice a little bit easier, parent choice a little bit easier, 4 to 8 years from now, the next president will simply repeal them or push it farther left. The problem is you got to throw out the baby and the bathwater. I've already said that I'm not convinced that Betsy DeVos is really anti-Common Core, number one. Number two, I don't think she's going to do anything to get rid of Common Core, number two. And number three, she was put in to placate establishment Republican types who believe that simple school choice is going to fix the problem. It won't. If you're giving parents choices in voucher and charter schools, but those voucher and charter schools do nothing but recreate the failed educational policies of the public schools, including Common Core, including the ridiculous high-stakes Common Core testing, then you are giving them many choices for the same crap product. And that's what you're going to have here. Look, voucher and charter schools are a great idea. The idea that parents can choose them, that the schools are somewhat free to deviate from public school methodology, but are they? Every charter and voucher school takes state or federal money to some degree. And what's already happening in state after state across this country is the states are starting to pull that string. Well, we'll allow you to have voucher and charter schools. We'll allow the state of Wisconsin parents to spend some of that taxpayer money to choose this or that charter or voucher school. However, because you're getting money from the state or money from the feds, you're going to have to take our Common Core state test. You're going to have to run your curriculum by our state Department of Education. There's going to have to be all these buy-ins, catches, codicils. Even some really good charter schools that started out as classical education in complete distinction from the garbage you get in the public schools, even they are already feeling the pressure from the states to conform. This is why you have to get rid of it. Here's what I would do. I would take any Department of Education, if I were the Secretary of Education, take any Department of Education member employee that was age 48 or over and offer them a 1-year package deal to retire early. Right? Here's your buyout. We'll give you a year's salary. You can go away now, or we're going to give you pink slips and you'll be unemployed. 85% of them are going to take the retirement. That's money well spent. Then the bottom half is probably about a third to a half of the Department of Education. The bottom half then, those who are reassignable, I reassign them. Put them in other federal agencies. If there is a fit there, try to gently nudge as many of them out of federal service as possible. And then the remaining ones you send to the unemployment line. I mean, it's a price very much worth paying. I understand putting people out of work, it seems anti-Republican, anti-conservative, but the work they're doing is countermanding the Constitution. It is undermining the Republic. It is contributing to the destruction of our kids' education. They got to go. Then I would immediately sell that building. Sell the Department of Education building in Washington, D.C. For as much money as I possibly could, and I would then salt the ground, if possible, out front so that nothing ever educational grows there again. These federal bureaucracies are nonsense. And I wouldn't stop there. Once you get the feds out, then you got to get the states out. Because the states are in many respects, even red states, are in many respects as corrupt about education, run by the same progressive liberals as you see at the federal level. Get the state out of education, drop everything down to the district level. When parents pay property taxes, they pay for their particular schools. If there are no schools in their particular district, guess what? Don't gotta pay. Parents pay for those schools that are in their districts, and that's it. And then they have immediate control over how that money is spent. Parents are absolutely part of the process, and then your local school boards become what they were meant to be. The ultimate authority in a local district as to what happens with those kids. Then you've got parents paying taxes directly to their schools. You've got locally elected school boards, not government appointed, locally elected school boards by those parents who are working in conjunction. And if the teachers aren't working, if the schools aren't working, fire them and start over. Take your money and walk. Fire them and start over. You get back to an educational system like that, you fix the problem. My worry again. Donald Trump promised getting rid of the Department of Education. Doesn't look like he's going to do it. Betsy DeVos is a sop. She is a sop to conservative establishmentarians. She's going to expand the choice program. We need that. That's not a bad thing. She's going to expand the choice program. Is she going to get rid of Common Core? I see no evidence she's going to get rid of Common Core, and I don't see how she's going to be able to. As long as that infrastructure is in place, that federal infrastructure, Common Core, high-stakes testing, nonsensical data gathering, the incredible cost ineffectiveness of running the Department of Education at the federal level ain't going away, folks. So let's hold their feet to the fire. Push Miss DeVos to do more than simply expand choice. Push Donald Trump to be faithful to what he promised us, to be the reformer he said he would be, to take on the mantle of genuine outsider, and get rid of the federal Department of Education.
This is Right Makes Might with Dr. Duke.